12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, we covered the first 12 shlokas. In the first 7 shlokas, Krishna established the supremacy of Bhakti Yoga. In the beginning of the chapter, Arjuna asked, who is better, an impersonalist or a personalist? An impersonalist who worships Brahman and a personalist who worships the personal form of Krishna. Who is better? So Krishna described that pure devotees who are always absorbed in the thought of Krishna are the supreme, or the supreme spiritual seekers. They are the best spiritualists. And there is a comparison between Bhakti Yoga and Jnana Yoga. And Krishna described how people who are attached to impersonal Brahman, their whole path is so troublesome. On the other hand, Bhakti is very simple and easy. And Ananya Bhaktas get direct reciprocation from Krishna. Krishna will personally become their swift deliverer and deliver them from this ocean of material existence and take them back to Godhead also. So having said that, up to 7th shloka, in the next 5 verses, text number 8 to 12, Krishna describes the progressive levels of Bhakti Yoga. First he says, absorption in Krishna with mind is the topmost stage. If one cannot manage to do that, absorb your intelligence in Krishna. If you cannot do that also, then you try to do abhyasa, practice to fix your mind on Krishna. And if you cannot practice to fix your mind on Krishna also, means you cannot do even sadhana bhakti also, then at least do Krishna karmarpan, means mat karma paramo bhava. Try to offer the results of your work to Krishna. If you can't do that also, at least give up the attachment to results and give up your results for some good cause. At least do Nishkama Karma. One is Nishkama Karma Yoga, second is Nishkama Karma. Nishkama Karma Yoga is you are doing detached work and offering things to the Supreme. Nishkama Karma is you are doing just detached work. So like that Krishna described various levels and he established the topmost level of Bhakti Yoga is to completely absorb oneself in Krishna consciousness, absorbing mind in Krishna. Now 13th shloka. From 13th shloka till 20th shloka, Krishna describes 31 qualities that endear a devotee to Krishna. What makes a devotee so dear to Krishna? What are the characteristics or qualities that a devotee should possess to become an object of mercy and grace and affection of Krishna? Krishna describes. So we have understood that Bhakti Yoga is the most effective path of spiritual advancement, and a Bhakti Yogi exhibits so many transcendental qualities, and all these qualities are actually products of devotional service. So Krishna is describing 31 qualities. Of all these qualities, these qualities can be categorized into 2. One is Swarupa Lakshan, second is Tatastha Lakshan. Swarupa Lakshan means primary quality or the most essential quality. Tatastha Lakshan means secondary qualities, auxiliary qualities. So what is the primary quality of a devotee? Devotion unto Krishna. A devotee loves Krishna. Okay. So such devotion is the most essential quality, and other qualities like humility, compassion, tolerance, patience, non-enviousness, not being greedy, cleanliness, all these other things will automatically manifest eventually, gradually in the personality of a devotee to the degree one is devoted to Krishna. Okay, so devotion to Krishna, dedication to Krishna is the primary quality or Swarupa Lakshan or Mukhya Lakshan, and other qualities are Tatastha Lakshan or Gauna Lakshan or secondary characteristics. Fine. So all these qualities, although you see Tatastha Lakshan, they are important qualities. We have described in our Vaishnava character series also that by the mercy of Guru and Krishna we get the seed of devotional service, Bhakti Lata Bija. And that seed of devotional service that is planted in our heart by the grace of Guru, that grows by the regular watering process of hearing and chanting. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, all these various limbs of devotional service. By your scriptural study, by your Shravanam, hearing of scriptures from Guru and other Vaishnavas, so that devotional kripa grows. So that is considered the watering process. For the seed to grow, you should regularly water the seed. But just watering the seed is not sufficient. The soil also has to be fertile. And that fertile soil is compared to all these Vaishnava qualities of non-enviousness, mercy or compassion, equanimity, satisfaction, tolerance, humility, respecting others, not craving for credit for oneself. We should respect everyone. So, not that only devotees are meant to be respected. One should not have any sectarian, fanatic kind of a feeling. So, we should respect everybody. So, to what degree a person has to be respected, scripture say. The third canto Kapil Dev says, there are gradations amongst living entities, accordingly we need to respect according to their position. Anyways, so point is, the seed of devotional service grows by the regular watering process of Shravanam and Kirtanam, and that also requires fertile soil of Vaishnava qualities. Thus, cultivating all these Vaishnava qualities is very important and essential aspect of progress in devotional service. And all these qualities will manifest in us to the degree we have devotion to Krishna. So both will go parallelly. We intensify our attraction and devotion to Krishna, thus qualities also will increase. And by increasing our qualities, working on this quality specifically, our devotion also will increase. Okay. So that will make one dear to Krishna. That's why in many of these verses, Krishna addresses his devotee as Priyaha. He is very dear to me. A devotee who has all these qualities is very dear to me. Let us go through these qualities one by one. 13th sloka. Adveshta sarvabhutanam Maitraha karuna evacha Nirmamo nirahankaraha Samadukhaha sukhaha kshami. In this one shloka, Krishna describes 7 qualities. Number 1, Adveshta. You can see the shloka. So every word is a quality practically in all these slokas, next 8 slokas. Okay. Adveshta means no dvesha. Okay. So a devotee is non-envious. A devotee does not envy anyone. Anyone means, okay, one devotee does not envy another devotee, that's one thing. What to speak of non-human beings or so-called non-devotees? So actually everybody is a devotee only of the Supreme Lord. But somehow the devotion is covered because of materialistic tendencies and other ignorance. Okay. So, but once the ignorance layers are removed by the grace of a pure devotee, one's devotion will manifest. So one should not envy anyone. Even if a person does some mistake also, and if you are authorized to correct him also, punish him also if needed, still that correction or punishment has to be given to that wrongdoer in a mood of compassion, in a mood of mercy, as a well-wisher, not out of envy or grudge. A mother may correct the child not out of grudge or envy. Mother may become very heavy and strict with the child sometimes, if the child is very mischievous and naughty. So that is just to correct. So Yashoda Mai corrected Krishna by binding Krishna to a rope, with a rope to a wooden grinding mortar. So that's out of her love. So even if you have to exhibit anger circumstantially towards a wrongdoer, still that should not be done out of envy. Even if the other person is envious of you, still you should not be envious. Duryodhan was envious of Yudhishthir, but Yudhishthir was never envious of Duryodhan. Understood this? So envy does not have any place in a devotee's heart. Adveshta. So here Krishna did not say just Adveshta. Adveshta, later Sarva Bhutanam. You should not be envious of anyone. Sarva Bhutanam includes all the living entities. It's not selective non-enviousness. It is universal non-enviousness. Devotee is a person who has zero envy towards anyone. No grudge, no jealousy. Okay. So there are 3 levels of non-enviousness. We have discussed in Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, first chapter. First level is, don't be envious of another person. No material envy. And when your colleague or your batchmate or a person who is close to you, if that person is flourishing in his, either in his career or in his studies or in his regular material life or spiritual life, if the person is flourishing, that should not cause any envy towards you, envy in your heart. That is basic level of non-enviousness. So he is successful and you are not bothered about it. That is not disturbing you. Envious people get disturbed by other success. Just when Prithu Maharaj was excelling in his performance of sacrifices, Indra became so envious. So envy is basically not tolerating another person's success. Okay. Or envy also comes out of insecurity. What will happen to my position if he also becomes prominent? Envy is out of insecurity. So when another person is getting successful and flourishing, you don't become envious. That is first level of non-enviousness. Second level is, you remember what is second level? We discussed this before. Becoming a genuine well-wisher of the other person. Okay. So first is don't envy when he is getting successful. Second is you become his well-wisher. You go and support him, help him, serve him, assist him, and offer your helping hand to the extent you could help him. Becoming a genuine well-wisher. Third is to establish a competitionless society with God in the center. Means to make everyone, to inspire everyone to become genuine well-wishers of others. Okay, you become well-wisher of others. Similarly, you make everyone as well-wisher. You inspire them to become well-wishers of others. So establish a society of non-enviousness without any competition. So first two are on a personal level. Third one is on a global level. Okay. So like that, a devotee is not envious of anyone. Simple thing. Krishna's devotee is so devoted to Krishna, and as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, what does he say? Mamaivamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatanaha aham bija pradah pitaha. Krishna is the seed-giving father of all living entities. So how can one child of a loving father envy another child of the same father? So a devotee does not envy, considering that other devotees, other living entities are also children of God. I am a child of God, they are also children of God. How can one child of God love or hate another child? Devotee does not like to cause any harm to any other person, whether they are devotees or his family members or community members, or whether someone who is totally disconnected from him, apparently. Ultimately, all of us are connected to each other because we are all children of God. So it's not being non-envious in our own closed circuit. One should not be envious of any living entity, even towards envious people. Even if the other person is envious of you, still you don't envy him. That is what non-envy is. Adveshta. Sarva Bhutanam. It's like series of Vaishnava character classes. So I may not be able to elaborate on every single quality. Somehow for non-enviousness I just elaborated more. Next quality, second quality is Maitraha. Maitri means friendly. Being friendly towards everyone. Okay. So no envy, only friendship. Then third quality is Karuna Evacha, being very kind and merciful to other people. So a devotee does not harm anyone else. A devotee does not like to see innocent creatures being killed. So a devotee is very kind and affectionate and very merciful towards all living entities. He does not want to inflict suffering on other people unnecessarily. Okay. Fourth quality, Nirmama. Nirmama means, mama means mine, a sense of possessiveness, proprietorship. Devotee understands that everything belongs to God, so he becomes Nirmama. Nirmama means no sense of possessiveness. no sense of proprietorship, no sense of ownership. Okay, just as a matter of living in this world, a devotee may become owner of few things. He may have certain properties, that he may have a house, he may have a car or bungalow or something like that. So as long as all these objects or people are within his care or under his care, he may responsibly take care of them. But he does not consider that I am the possessor, I am the proprietor of all these things. So that proprietorship mentality is not there. That's why Kunti Maharani says, Janmaishwarya Shruta Shribhir Yedhamana Madah Puman Naiva Arhati Abhidhatum Vai Tvam Akinchana Gocharam. She says, Janma is high birth. Aishwarya, lot of wealth. Shruta, lot of education. Shri, beauty. So Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, Shri. So these four qualities could induce pride and intoxication in a proud person, in an average person. He could become proud of these four qualities. But Krishna is not accessible or available to such proud people who are intoxicated, who are very puffed up of their so-called material qualifications. Krishna is called Akinchana Gocharam. Akinchana Gocharam means he is the property of materially impoverished people. He is accessible and available to people who are not having a sense of proprietorship. Having wealth is not wrong. Having beauty and education and influence and name, fame, that is not wrong. But becoming puffed up and proud of having all these qualifications is wrong. Okay. So devotee may have possess so many things, but he does not have a false sense of possessiveness. Having possessions is not wrong, having possessiveness is wrong. So devotee is nirmama, free from sense of proprietorship. He may have a lot of property, but he does not consider himself the owner of the property, because devotee knows everything belongs to God. I am just a caretaker. How long this bungalow belongs to you? At the max till the point of your death. At the time of death, you have to leave the bungalow. You have to leave your own body. What to speak of bungalow? So your house, your property, your certificates, your education, your beauty, everything that you possessed and enjoyed throughout one lifetime will leave you. You will have to leave them when your tenure within this material body is completed. Death is inevitable. Everybody has to die. So within one lifetime, one may have a lot of property, but if one is obsessed with that property and develops a deep sense of proprietorship for that property and possessiveness for that property, then because of that undue material attachment, again he will have to take a birth in this world, again enter the womb of another mother and undergo a lot of suffering. All that. So one should not have a sense of proprietorship, or one should have responsibility. As long as things are within one's care, one should responsibly protect them. So responsibility should be accompanied with detachment. So just having responsibility does not mean you become attached to it. Okay, being responsible does not mean becoming attached, and being detached does not mean being irresponsible. Okay, irresponsibility and attachment are discouraged, but having responsibility while being detached from these properties, that is very important. Okay, so devotee does not have a sense of proprietorship. Fifth quality, nirahankara. Nirahankara means a devotee is freed from false ego or false identification. He does not have ahankara. Ahankara includes a lot. We can elaborate on this quality a lot, but he does not have a sense of false identification. And the biggest ahankara is to consider oneself to be this material body and becoming proud of one's body, or becoming morose or developing inferiority complex because of one's body. So a devotee does not have such false identification with the body or bodily relations or bodily possessions. Basically, he does not have false ego. That is nirahankara. Sixth quality, sama dukkha sukha. A devotee is equipoised in happiness and in distress. So devotee does not become too elated when there is a cause of happiness, And a devotee does not feel so discouraged, disheartened, devastated or dejected when there is a reason for being morose. So this material world comes with situations where there is happiness sometimes and distress sometimes. So that happiness and distress in this world does not overly and unduly affect a devotee's consciousness. Okay, so a devotee is equal in happiness and distress. That kind of equanimity makes one eligible for liberation. We discussed in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Yam hina vyathayantyete purusham purusharshabha samadukha sukham dhiram so amritatvaya kalpate. If one is able to maintain one's equanimity and equal vision in happiness and distress both, then he is eligible for amritatva, liberation or immortality. So happiness and distress on a material plane exist in this world, and if you are too much affected by it, affected by material happiness and material distress, ultimately both are material, ultimately both are temporary, ultimately both are distress only in one sense. So what is the point? Becoming overwhelmed. It's not so easy. It's easier said than done. And there is happiness and distress, we get affected. Till we become very mature and become very absorbed in bhakti yoga, absorbed in Krishna consciousness, we get affected to some degree or the other. But slowly, as we are progressing in the process, in the path of bhakti yoga, our getting affected with this temporary happiness and distress should reduce. We should develop some detachment. A small child is attached to toys, and if the toy is taken away from the child will cry because there is a lot of attachment. But if the child is grown up, if he grows older, then he will not be too affected, is it not? Because he has given up the attachment to toys by becoming mature. Similarly, a devotee also may get affected with happiness and distress on a material plane in the initial days of one's bhakti, but as he grows in bhakti yoga, he will eventually be transcending that happiness and distress. Is it clear? So happiness and distress on a material plane will not affect a devotee so much if one becomes mature. So a child is getting mature externally, physically, or from the intelligence perspective, material intelligence perspective. A devotee should become mature from a spiritual perspective and become oblivious to material happiness and material distress. Next, this equanimity is one of the most important qualities for a devotee. Matra sparshasta kaunteya sitoshna sukha dukkhadaha agama apayino anityaha tam stitikshasva bharata. Agama apayino, they come, they go. They are not very permanent, sukha and dukkha in this world. Titiksha, tolerate them, learn to tolerate them. Next, kshami, seventh quality is kshami. Kshami means a devotee is very forgiving. He is very tolerant. He forgives when another person comes and offends this person or does some wrong towards this devotee, devotee forgives. Even if a devotee takes an action against the person, against the wrongdoer, still internally he forgives. Externally, just to address the situation, just to rectify the mentality of the other person, he may take an action, but internally there is forgiveness. Internally there is no envy. And on a personal level, a devotee forgives. He does not even take action also, generally. But if many people are getting affected by the mistakes of other people, then a devotee may take an action. But that action is not taken out of grudge or envy or anger. Internally there is forgiveness, externally there is some strictness. Fine? So these are the 7 qualities described in the 13th sloka. 14th sloka. Santushtaha satatam yogi yatatma dhrudha nishchayah mayyarpita mano buddher yo madbhaktaha same priyah Santushtaha satatam yogi. Such a yogi, such a great devotee is santushta, very satisfied. When? Once in a while, satatam. He is always satisfied. A bhakti yogi is always satisfied with whatever comes of its own accord. A bhakti yogi, a devotee, does not have so much greed. I have to accumulate this much, I have to accumulate that much. He doesn't think like that. So whatever comes of its own accord by his honest efforts, a devotee becomes very happy. Santushtaha satatam yogi. There is no extra hankering. Next, yatatma. Yata atma. Atma here is oneself. Yatatma means a devotee controls oneself. Means he has mind control, he has sense control. A devotee has the ability to control one's senses, a devotee does not indulge in undue sense gratification. So self-controlled. And mind also, when it is running here and there, a devotee has the ability to bring it and put it under the control and focus it on bhakti yoga. It will take some time. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says in the 6th chapter, Chanchalam hi manaha Krishna pramati balavad dridam. When Arjuna asked like this, Krishna said, yes, it is, I understand, it is extremely difficult to control the mind. But abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyirana cha grihiyate. By regular practice of controlling the mind, you will be able to control. So devotee endeavors to control the mind, and eventually the devotee will be able to control the mind and senses both by the grace of God. So all this will come by our devotional service. So all these qualities will manifest in the personality of a devotee to the degree one is devoted to Krishna. Next, Dridha Nishchayaha. Dridha Nishchayaha means determined. A devotee is extremely determined. He is not fickle-minded. He has determination to accomplish his responsibilities and whatever is assigned to him. Okay. So, next, 11th quality. Mayarpita mano buddher. This is very important quality. Mayi arpita. Mayi, who is speaking this shloka? Krishna is speaking. Mayi refers to whom? Krishna. Mayi arpita means you dedicate to Krishna. What? Mano buddhir, your mind and intelligence. A devotee is a person who dedicates one's mind and intelligence to Krishna. That's a very important quality. Sam yomad bhaktaha same priyaha. Krishna says, such a bhakta, such a devotee who has all these qualities is extremely dear to me. Same priyaha. Is it clear? So we discussed 11 qualities in the 13th and 14th shlokas. 15th shloka. Yasmanno dvijate loko lokanno dvijate chayah harshamarsha bhayodvegair mukto yah sacha me priyah yasmanno dvijate loko. 12th quality means yasmanno dvijate loko means no one is agitated by a devotee. A devotee does not unnecessarily agitate other people. Means no one is agitated by a devotee. Yasmanno dvijate loko. Other people do not get disturbed by him. Even with his words also, devotee does not bother another person. You know that shloka? Anudvega karam vakyam satyam priyahitam chayat swadhyaya bhyasanam chayava vangmayam tapo uchyate. The austerity of speech is, number one, anudvega karam vakyam. Your words should not agitate or disturb the minds of other people. A devotee does not speak in a way that disturbs other people. Of course, sometimes a teacher may have to agitate a student, may have to scold a student. Acharya say this. How can you say you should always speak very pleasantly, very mildly, very gently? There is no scope of becoming very assertive or strict or anything like that. No, not like that. A teacher may become strict with a student sometimes, a parent may correct a child sometimes, but all this is done with love, and that too, that kind of speech is spoken to a person who is very close. A teacher may chastise the student if needed, but the teacher does not chastise anyone on the road. Okay. So Anudvega Karam Vakyam does not eliminate the need, or does not eliminate the possibility of a person becoming strict with a dependent. The first words that Krishna spoke in Bhagavad Gita are chastisement of Krishna. When did Krishna start speaking? 7th shloka. In the 2nd chapter, Krishna spoke, Karpanya doshopa svabhava pritchamitvam dharma sammudha chetaha. He says Karpanya dosha. The very first words that emanated from Krishna's Even before that, you see, second shloka, second chapter, second shloka. Kutastva kashmalamidam vishame samupasthitam. Where did you get all these impurities? So, Arjuna is being scolded by Krishna here. Krishna is scolding Arjuna because Arjuna is very intimate. So, you may have to scold a dependent according to the necessity, time, place, circumstances, but generally, in all circumstances, towards all other people, you are always not agitating or disturbing. But sometimes it is needed, then you may exhibit, that too with a person who is intimate to you. Is it clear? So that is Yasman no dvijate loko. He does not agitate anyone. Then 13th quality, Lokan no dvijate jayaha. He is not agitated by anyone. He doesn't disturb anyone, he doesn't agitate anyone. Others also cannot agitate him. Means when others are trying to agitate, he maintains his calm, cool. Duryodhan may want to agitate Yudhishthir Maharaj, but Yudhishthir maintains his cool. Yes. Okay. Next, 14th sloka, 14th quality. Harsha marsha bhayodvegair mukto yaha. A devotee is freed from harsha amarsha. He is freed from joy and distress. Next, bhaya udvega, fear and anxiety. So, devotee does not get affected by these temporary dualities. This is somewhat similar to equanimity quality, samadukha sukham. So, mukto yaha sachame priyaha, such a devotee, such a detached devotee is very dear to me, Krishna says. So, in these three shlokas, Krishna described 14 qualities of a devotee. Next, 16th shloka, anapeksha suchirdaksha udasino gatavyatah sarvarambha parityagi yo madbhaktah same priyah. Anapeksha, 15th quality. Anapeksha. Apeksha means expecting something. Anapeksha means no expectations, being neutral. Okay, devoid of expectations from his work. Other people should do this to me, do that to me. That kind of expectations are not there. Anapeksha. So, if simple thing, if you have undue expectations from others, most probably you will get frustrated in this world. That is the nature of this world. If you have so many expectations from other people, they should come and assist me, they should give me love, they should show me a lot of affection, or they should give me time, they should help me in my activities, they should think of me, they should call me. So there's a lot of dependence on others, on an emotional plane, on a physical plane, and in all practical ways. So, or for example, a master may be dependent on servant. Master is expecting the servant, he should come and report to me, he should say good morning to me, he should come at 9 o'clock only. If he delays, he should just call me. Yeah, practically you may have to do all that. Okay. But if we have undue expectations in relationships, especially you don't have an official tie, they are not obliged to do it, they have some independence to work on it. Still you are having expectations from them. They should behave in this way with me. So when you have undue expectations from others, and most probably, oftentimes, generally you get frustrated. Especially if you are expecting some personal help from others, and if you don't get it, it will be disappointing to you. But if you are not expecting any help from others, still other people will come and help you to some degree. You can become grateful to them. It's up to you. Whether you don't have expectations from other people and become grateful when they help you, or you have undue expectations from people and become frustrated when they don't help. Which is better for you? Having expectations and getting frustrated, or having no expectations and becoming grateful? It's your choice. But here Krishna says, a devotee is anapeksha, having no expectations from other people and even from his work also. He will dutifully work. Whatever results are coming, he is detached. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. So devotee is basically neutral, anapeksha. That is 15th quality. 16th quality is shuchi. Shuchi means a devotee is very clean, very pure, and that cleanliness or purity is not only external purity where you take bath a couple of times in a day, and it's also internal purity. Mind has to be pure, body also has to be pure. So you can elaborate more on it, so I'll leave that to you. Daksha means a devotee is expert. He's very skillful in all situations. Means a devotee is not dumb, he's not lame, he is not ignorant. A devotee knows how to do things according to time, place and circumstances, what is a very appropriate action to take. He can analyze and then he can implement. He's expert in things. He has certain fine skills also, so that he can use all of them in Krishna's seva. Next, Udasina, 18th quality is Udasina. So he is unattached, Udasin. Not, Udasin does not mean he is careless or is callous, reckless, not like that. So he is unattached to material persons. He is neutral, or he is little detached from materialistic situations and materialistic persons. Not that he hates them, but he understands this kind of association is not favorable to me. So better to maintain distance. Fine. So something which is not favorable and conducive for one's spiritual practice or spiritual progress, a devotee is detached enough to maintain safe distance. 19th quality, Gatavyataha, he is freed from all pains. Vyatha is pain. Gatavyataha means freed from all pains or freed from all designations also. Designations will give you pain. Means undue attachments and identifications will give us pain. The devotee is detached from all that. Sarvarambha parityagi, 20th quality. Sarva, we have recited this shloka? We did na? Anapeksha sucharidaksha udasino gatavyataha sarvarambha parityagi. 16th shloka only. Sarva means all. Arambha parityagi means a devotee does not start a work. Basically, he does not start material endeavors. Sarvarambha parityagi means he will give up all his endeavors to work on a material plane. Not that he does not do any work. No arambha. Arambha means beginning basically. Not that devotee is devoid of any work. He stops material endeavors. This is specifically referring to material endeavors. Yomad bhakta same priyaha. Such a devotee is very dear to Krishna. Okay. So 16 slokas we did. 17th sloka. Yo na hrishyati na dveshti. Yo na hrishyati na dveshti. Na shochati na kankshati. Na shochati na kankshati. Shubha shubha parityagi. Shubha shubha parityagi. Bhakti manyah same priyaha. Bhakti manyah same priyaha. Yo na hrishyati na dveshti. 21st quality. Na hrishyati means he does not rejoice or become elated, too overexcited. Na dveshti means he does not grieve. He does not become so morose or disheartened or disappointed or dejected or discouraged. Okay. So basically he is neutral towards the dualities. So this is also a part of one's tolerance or equanimity. Yo na hrishyati na dveshti. Next, na shochati na kankshati. He does not lament, he does not desire. He does not have undue material desires and he does not have undue material lamentation. No. Neither laments nor desires. Na shochati na kankshati. Shubha shubha parityagi. He renounces all auspicious and inauspicious things. Shubha is auspicious things. Ashubha is inauspicious things. But both auspicious and inauspicious things are in a material plane. So devotee is detached from it. Papa, punya, it's fine. I don't want material piety. I don't want any material sins. So I am detached from both. Okay. Bhaktiman yaha same priyaha. Such a devotee is very dear to me. So Krishna is saying. And there is some overlap between many of these qualities. Although we counted them as 31 here. 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. So that word harsha, marsha, bhayodvegar, one is equipoised in everything. That and these qualities described in 17th sloka are more or less same. There is an overlap in these qualities. But just for your reference, I am just putting them in certain sequence. Krishna spoke them in sequence, we are just numbering them for easy remembrance. 18th sloka. Samah shatrau cha mitre cha tatha manapamanayoh sitoshna sukha dukkheshu samah sanga vivarjitah. In this shloka, Krishna describes 4 more qualities, but all 4 are aspects of one quality, which is equanimity in one sense. You see, Samaha Shatraucha Mitrecha. Samaha means equanimity. He is equal to both friends and enemies. Shatru is enemy, Mitra is friend. He is equal to both. Second, Tatha Manapamanayoho. He is also equipoised to man and upman, respect and disrespect, or honor and dishonor. Then Sitoshna Sukha Dukkheshu, Sita and Ushna, heat and cold also he will tolerate. Sukha Dukkha. He is equipoised to all these dualities. So, all these 3 lines are speaking about equanimity only. Then last line, Samaha Sangha Vivarjitaha. Samaha means again devotee is equipoised, and he Sangha Vivarjitaha means he is always free from material contamination. Sangha Vivarjitaha. Sangha is basically association, but in many contexts, the Sangha word is used to specifically indicate material association. Devotee is Sangha Vivarjitaha. He is devoid of material association. Next shloka, 19th shloka. Tulya nindastutir maune santushto yena kenachit aniketah sthiramati bhaktiman me priyo naraha. Tulya nindastuti. Ninda is criticism. Stuti means praise. Tulya nindastutir means a devotee is equipoised to both criticism and praise. When somebody is praising you, glorifying you so much, that doesn't increase your pride. Ninda, someone is criticizing you, blaspheming you, or scolding you, finding fault in you, you don't get so discouraged by it. Out of their envy, they may be, out of their anger or their innocence or ignorance, they may be criticizing me. Let me not maintain any grudge towards them. Or out of their generosity, their humility, they may be praising me. Let me not get affected. So when somebody is criticizing, probably there may be some mistake in me, so I should rectify this mistake. That's how a devotee thinks. And if that criticism is undue, it's not correct, then you ignore it. 2 things. If their feedbacks have some value, means if somebody is genuinely pointing out a real fault in you, then you work on it humbly and rectify that fault. But if there is no fault in you, still they are finding some fault in you, if they are still there pointing out and criticizing you, you can conveniently ignore it. That's fine, let them speak whatever they want to speak, I'll just move ahead. So that's one aspect. Or if needed, you may have to give a feedback to them and correct them, and all that is needed depending on the time, place, circumstances and the people who are involved. How much is it affecting you? How much is it affecting the people around you? Okay. Accordingly, you take a decision. Satrajit was saying that Krishna is a thief. He has stolen my Samantakamani. Krishna said, give me some time, let me prove my innocence. So he went and did the needful and brought the Samantakamani and gave it to Satrajit. Now you believe I didn't steal this? You lost this because of all these circumstances. I will not elaborate on the past time now. So Krishna proved his innocence. Sometimes it is needed. Sometimes, say for example, Srivas Thakur. Srivas Thakur was doing Harinam Sankirtan, but Gopal Chapal kept some, puja, Kali Puja paraphernalia to prove that he is doing something else, not Harinam Sankirtan. Srivas Thakur came out, Gopal Chapal did this like to me. He called everyone. See, this is what I have been doing throughout the night. Throughout the night I do Kali Puja, not Harinam Sankirtan. Nobody believed him. Okay. So some people are oblivious to criticism. You may have to respond also sometimes, and so that people's faith is not lost. But internally you are neutral. You have no grudge towards the person who criticized you. Tulya nindastuti. So there is equanimity towards both praise and criticism. Somebody is praising you, you become very puffed up. That is not allowed for a devotee. Stuti, Tulya Ninda Stuti. 28th quality is Mauni. Mauni means a devotee is silent. Silent means he does not speak at all. We are supposed to speak Krishna Katha, we are supposed to glorify Krishna, we are supposed to chant the holy names of Krishna, and here the devotee is described as Mauni. So silent, devotee is silent means when there is necessity to speak, then only he will speak. Otherwise he will not speak. When he speaks, he will only speak in relation to Krishna. Either he will glorify Krishna, or he will speak to Krishna's devotees some spiritual topics, or he will speak about the qualities of other devotees, he will speak about service of Krishna. So basically a devotee uses one's power of speech to in relationship with Krishna. Okay. तथापि कीर्तयाम यंग यथामति यथाश्रुतम कीर्तिम हरेम स्वाम सत्कर्तुम गिरम अन्याभिदा असतीम. If we use our power of speech in glorifying anything else other than Krishna, other than the Supreme Lord and His incarnation and His devotees and basically spiritual subject matters, then our speech is unchaste according to Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. So silent. He speaks only of essential topics, necessary topics, moral subjects, spiritual subjects. Santushto yena kenachit. Again, this santushta quality came. 8th quality you see, santushtah satatam yogi. And here also, 28th quality also santushto yena kenachit. So, they are same. So, the devotee is satisfied with whatever comes of its own accord. Yena kenachit means whatever comes of its own. I did honest efforts and this is what I obtained. Let me be satisfied. Let me not hanker. Let me not compare with other people. Let me not complain, I didn't get this. Let me not criticize, they are doing injustice. This comparison, criticism and complaining attitude, so that is very detrimental to one's satisfaction in the heart. If you develop comparative mentality, competitive mentality, critical mentality, complaining mentality, then you will compromise on your satisfaction. Satisfaction is lost. You want to be satisfied or just you want to be satisfied by complaining? So comparison, criticism, competition and what else I said? Complaining. So this will kill your satisfaction. Where are we? Aniketa, 30th sloka, 30th quality. Aniketa means, Niketa means a residence. Aniketa means devotee does not care for a residence. That does not mean he will not stay in some house. So there are some saintly devotees also who may not be dwelling in one place, they may be traveling here and there. Or a devotee is not attached to one residence. Wherever he gets an opportunity to render some service to Krishna, he is happy doing it. Okay. He doesn't care for any particular residence. Sthiramatir is very steady and fixed in his intelligence. Bhaktivan me priyo naraha. Such a devotee is very dear to Krishna. So in this way Krishna described several qualities of a devotee that endear the devotee to Krishna. So some of these qualities are similar to each other. So count does not matter, number does not matter. So I just gave numbers according to the lines of the shlokas. Okay. But there is overlap in many of these qualities, similarity in the qualities. Harava bhaktasya kuto mahadguna. So basically, yasyasti bhaktir bhagavatya kinchana sarvair gunais tatra samasate suraha. Harav abhaktasya kuto mahadguna manorathe nasati dhavato bhai. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, this shloka comes. When a devotee performs sincere bhakti yoga unto Krishna, all the qualities that are present even in great demigods also manifest in his personality. So bhakti or devotion to Krishna or fixing one's mind and intelligence and senses in Krishna, mayyarpita manobuddhir. So this is the most prominent quality. Becoming a devotee of Krishna is the most prominent quality or Swarupa Lakshan. All others are Tatastha Lakshan or secondary characteristics that eventually manifest in the personality of a devotee. They are important. We can put some effort to cultivate those qualities also. But keeping aside devotion to Krishna, you separately cultivate compassion. Now Krishna is not there in the picture and you are trying to cultivate the quality of compassion. Your compassion is on a material plane. Bring in Krishna, your compassion becomes spiritual compassion. You become a representative of Krishna's compassion. So all these qualities should be accompanied with devotion to Krishna. Then they will shine. Okay. They are like jewels. But ultimately they need to be accompanied with Krishna. So all the zeros should have one in front. Last sloka of this chapter. ये तो धर्मामृतमिदं यथोक्तं पर्युपासते श्रद्धदाना मत्परमा भक्तास्तेतीव मे प्रियाः ये तो धर्मामृतमिदं dharma amritam, nectarian description of religious principles. Yathoktam paryupasate, those who follow this imperishable path, dharmamritam. What dharma here he is speaking? Parodharma. The supreme occupational duty of every single soul, that is bhakti dharma, bhagavata dharma. So those who follow this imperishable path of devotional service and completely engage Shraddha-dhana, Paryupasati means worship Krishna, Shraddha-dhana with faith, Mat-parama, making Krishna the supreme goal, Bhaktaste ativa me priyaha, such a devotee is extremely dear to me. So worshipping Krishna, doing bhajan or upasan of Krishna with Shraddha, with faith, being completely devoted to Krishna, Mat-parama, Mat-para. So such a quality will make one extremely dear to Krishna. So in this way, Krishna has wonderfully described so many qualities that endear a devotee to Krishna. So these are the qualities of a devotee. Thus we completed the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. In the first 7 shlokas, Krishna established the supremacy of Bhakti Yoga over the impersonalistic path of being attached to impersonal Brahman. And in the next 5 shlokas, Krishna described progressive levels of bhakti, and he established absorption in Krishna by one's mind and intelligence are the topmost levels of bhakti yoga. And he described several qualities that endear a devotee to Krishna. So we completed 12th chapter. In the next session, we'll begin the last section of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is divided into 3 sections. First 6 chapters, they prominently speak about karma yoga, although there is some bhakti also. The middle 6 chapters prominently speak about bhakti yoga. The last 6 chapters prominently speak about jnana yoga. So we completed the first 2 sections. We will begin the last section in the next class. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.